Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers win in Cleveland tonight, 131-120. No overtime necessary. The Los Angeles Lakers just played good basketball, and that's not something I say lightly. That's not something I've said often. But we saw for the third straight game where I thought Russell Westbrook really led the team and did great. His plus minus tonight was plus 27 and really complimented LeBron James as one of our, superstars out there. When you consider what the Lakers needed from him and how he approached this game tonight, being careful to take good shots, keeping his turnovers down as a team. We kept our turnovers down, only had 8 tonight, which I was very pleased with. Um, Took good rhythm shots, continued to rebound the ball, continues to look for teammates, looking for others, passing up shots he had no business taking for better shots. You just saw teams doing things that helped one another tonight. We did a lot of give and go, which I think is a great recipe for success for us, and we kept the pace fast. We saw that the Cleveland Cavaliers were kind of struggling with their try to find certain things that help themselves out there outside of their starters, and we were able to just get more out of our team. DJ Augustine was fantastic tonight. We saw exactly what I was hoping to see when I was speaking to you guys earlier in the video about the pregame show or what have you. I was saying I want to see him shoot more. I want to see us give our shooters opportunities to shoot. And if we're going to shoot so many threes as we did in the previous game, upwards of 40 or something, why not have a guy who we know can shoot be the one taking all the threes or taking the majority of the threes that we take, rather than players that can't shoot as well taking those shots. So I thought the Lakers did a great job of making sure that players did things that helped themselves. Um, and DJ was just a shining example of that. I don't think we could have won this game tonight without his 3-point shooting, and I'd love to see us continue to give him those opportunities. Wenyen Gabriel was big tonight, even though he was having some jitters in that first half. It really looked like he was going to get off to a bad start, but he ended up closing the game strong. Just got to give credit to him for just being exactly what the Lakers need. A player who's a wing with a lot of energy, who's not afraid to bang, who's going to be good at 50-50 ball situations, who's going to be aggressive defensively, who's not going to be afraid to take open shots, who's not going to be afraid to draw a foul. And he's done all of those things. He's not overly confident just yet. He has a long way to go for his development. It's a lot of that. And you could see where him coming off a game where he really messed up, getting in foul trouble in the last game and not helping the team, after bouncing from a game where he had a career high and was great, you could see where all of that was like coming together to where it's like where the rubber meets the road. Is it either we're going to play well or we're going to play bad? And I think at the beginning of the game, it was one of those situations where his confidence was low, but it didn't take long for him to find the confidence from the game prior and ultimately finished strong. So I was just very pleased what I saw from Wenyen Gabriel, and I'm very pleased that the Lakers put him in positions to do things that he can do. That's what I saw tonight. A lot of that. Austin Reeves was excellent, playing smart, getting to the cup, doing the things that we love to see him do. I thought we would see THT tonight, but he didn't go, and we didn't miss him, to be completely honest with you. I thought the guys really stepped up. Stanley Johnson was excellent tonight. Big game from Stanley Johnson on the defensive side of the ball. Just doing all the stuff you need to see him do, continuing to be active with his hands. Just great there. Malik Monk was really, really helpful tonight in doing the things that he always does, playing smart, grabbing boards. And that's what I want to say. I really appreciate now, in some ways, as it pertains to the development of the players on this team, that they are being forced to do things that are otherwise uncomfortable. It's almost like how I used to look at when we first drafted Brandon Ingram and put the ball in his hands. In the very first couple of games, we made him our point guard, just to give him those skills. And I knew that would carry forward to making him a much better all-around player, even though it wasn't necessarily his game when he got here. I thought Luke did a great job of doing that. Well, in this situation, I feel the same as it pertains to this. We're putting the player in positions to do things that we know he can do. and slowly but surely, we're going to see that progression um, take take its course to where these players, not just Stanley Johnson and not just a few of them, but just about every player on this team who's getting used to playing out of position can rebound the ball more so than maybe they would have otherwise. So this small ball crap, yeah, it sucked all year. We haven't enjoyed it. But what it's done is it's made Austin Reeves a better rebounder, Malik Monk a better rebounder, Stanley Johnson a better rebounder, THT's a better rebounder. LeBron James thinks boards more so than he's ever had to, and because of it, he's rebounding better. You know, um, it's one of those things where it's like you're forced to think outside of yourself, and it gives you an attribute you otherwise wouldn't have had. So I'm loving what this means for those guys. I guess that's what I'm trying to come around to say. And it came into play tonight. You saw a situation where Austin Reeves was able to get a really key offensive rebound over Darius Garland, who was just caught sleeping. And I thought that the Lakers did a good job of catching them sleeping a lot tonight. And then they caught us a couple times too. Darius Garland, I think about that steal that he had on Russell Westbrook early on, which looked like it was going to swap the momentum away from him. But Russell's confidence on the road has just been great. And, he too was able to catch some people and slipping and get some steals in there. And I just felt like it was a lot of that, a lot of slide plays from both teams. I think at the end of the day, what it really came down to is I just felt like the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't necessarily put the right players on the floor for themselves. And we matched up in ways that, really did help us for a change. We started Dwight Howard. We played Wenyen Gabriel a great amount of minutes. And I think the Wenyen Gabriel dynamic makes us a much better basketball team than we were prior to having him on the squad, especially when you throw in Stanley Johnson. Those two players were basically essentially the dynamic that was missing all these games. We were, horrible, earlier in the season. That was Trevor Ariza. That was, Wayne Ellington in those situations. Players that can't help you like that. That was, we were putting players in those positions who didn't have any athleticism, who didn't have active hands, who don't have the length to guard wings and stuff like that. We're looking for that Jeremy Grant type of player, and we found it in Wenyen Gabriel. So now that dynamic is on the floor, it just makes us a better team. We're different, and you have to game plan against those active wings, even though they're not overly quote unquote talented. They do the things that we need them to do. And LeBron can carry the load. Malik Monk can carry the load. Russell Westbrook, then his game starts to come together because now the environment around him is more stable. The defense that he's a part of is strong. So if he makes a mistake here or there, it doesn't collapse the entire defense. You see, that's what Stan and Wenyen provide. It's that stability. Wenyen Gabriel, I can't tell you how many times we had situations where the ball would come off the rim and he would get his hands on the ball, even though he wouldn't be credited with a rebound because he didn't actually pull it down. The tip keeps the ball live in our direction, and we end up getting it. Bron will end up coming up with the ball tipped, or Malik will get the ball because it was tipped. But without Wenyen Gabriel, that's an easy defensive rebound for the other team that usually goes in transition. There's no jumping around for the basketball. There's no way for the Lakers to retain that possession. So I think Wenyen Gabriel single-handedly gives the Lakers an opportunity to win games that they otherwise cannot win. I literally believe that. And I think the more that we play him, whether he's playing well or not, we have a better chance of winning. So long as we continue to throw other players around him that can score, shoot, dribble, all the live stuff, all the skill stuff. But he will be stable enough doing the 50-50 ball stuff to pull down boards, get the 50-50s, and just ultimately keep us around. And that's what we've been lacking. So, yeah, I think all of the success that we've had over these last three games is credited to his dynamic now being present. And of course, the resurgence of Russell Westbrook's confidence and the exodus of his can't get right consistency. These can't get right fumbling plays are coming around less and less on this road trip, and I'm just prayerful that can carry over to the end of the season and well into wherever we're headed in the play-in tournament. And as I said in the pregame show, this team is getting better and healthier. And I'm putting everybody on notice. The Lakers are now officially a team that other teams need to be careful not to fall asleep against. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're going to win a championship. I'm not saying we're going to beat anybody, not getting out of the first round. I'm not predicting none of that. All I'm saying is we are the great team example of what a good spoiler team looks like, in my opinion. Because we got players coming back that you're not game planning for. You got new players on this team that you probably didn't see in the first couple times when you saw us in the regular season, and those players have main roles that provide things that, as I said, that we didn't have. So if you're one of these teams at the top of the Western Conference, don't sleep against this Laker team. That's officially what I'm here to say. I'm not saying we're going to play well. You can't sleep on us. 38 points and a triple-double for LeBron James returning to Cleveland. Excellent, great atmosphere. I felt like he felt the love. You know what I mean? His body language was excellent tonight in that building. He felt at home, it seemed to me. Kevin Love getting a chance to not only slap hands with Kevin Love and just feed off that energy, that brotherhood, but also dunking on his boy, and ultimately getting the victory in that building. I just felt like that was what LeBron James needed, you know. For this to be a bad season, if not the worst, he's had some opportunities to be celebrated, to be in environments that otherwise are warm for him this year. And I think that's ultimately what it is. If you're going to be losing, you want at least to be able to feel the recognition that comes from just people who appreciate what it is that you do. And I do as a Laker fan, but not the same way Cleveland does, not the same way anybody back east has. And that's what I understand, you know. It's just different. So while we appreciate Bron for what he's doing for us and we have respect for what he's done in the past, we don't love what he did in the past. We didn't watch it like that, and so it's hard to give him the love that he deserves because we just weren't a part of it, you know. And not only that, but even worse, we were conditioned by the media to hate him. So that makes it even worse. But I think he understands that as long as he's rolling with us, we're rolling with him. And maybe we don't roar and cheer like everybody else, but it's because we've been through so much that we have our own identity. You know, we're not just a fan base rooting for somebody. We feel like we're a part of something, and right now we're going through something. So that's what I would tell LeBron James. Just be patient with this. It's going to take a long time for us to love you like you want to be loved because we were conditioned not to. And that's all it is. But this fan base is capable of riding and dying for those who win for us, and you've won for us. If the circumstances were better, we would be riding harder. And I think the longer you stick with us, the more you're going to feel that love here. But it ain't there yet, and we ain't nobody going to lie about it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to lie about it. It's just different on the road. And I'm glad he was able to experience that. That's what it's about, you know. Get the love everywhere. He deserves it from everywhere. This is the second, if not the greatest player of all time. And, you know, it's a privilege to have him on our squad. And when he plays like he did tonight, you really feel the love. You feel it. You know what I mean? You appreciate what he's doing out there. You appreciate that at 37 years of age, he can still get his elbow above the rim. He'll still play 40 minutes a game in a year where your team ain't no good, you know? And, yeah, it's a great, perfect storm if you want to criticize him for that same reason, because you can always say he's doing it for his own numbers, right? But I think that's the evil of the situation. It doesn't allow for him to be appreciated ever. You know what I mean? That's the great curse of being that great and not being a relentless killer. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody wants you to be that. And that's not necessarily who he is. But that doesn't mean that his form of greatness isn't still superior to all, basically. So I think that we just have to embrace what he is. And as we do, I think we'll learn to appreciate him even more so after all of this is done. So I just want to personally congratulate LeBron James for all of that he's accomplished. And I'm pretty proud that he's an NBA champion for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's what I want to say about that. Yeah, what else? It was some good things that happened. Isaac Okoro, 4 for 4 from three. Why is that important? Because Isaac Okoro was the same guy I said at the beginning, earlier in the previous video, that I said, oh, he's not going to be out there shooting 4 for 4 from three. I think I actually said that. That's what makes it so ridiculous. But either way, he was out there draining threes like Reggie Miller. We still have a long way to go to be better at guarding our perimeter. And unfortunately, the teams that we're projected to see are going to be shooting the three quite a bit. So we need to continue to run Stanley, run Wenyen, and just get better at guarding the three-point shot. Lauri Markkanen was stretching the floor for them, doing good things out there as well, kind of taking advantage of the size mismatch like I said he would be able to. Stevens, I don't want to hang up this without telling you guys about Lamar Stevens. This dude is energy personified. Yet another one of those dudes that just game. He's a gamer, just like Wenyen Gabriel. He's another one of those guys where he's not overly talented, but he can still give you a lot of production because of how active he is in his size. Boy, was he active out there, man. He was pushing people around, grabbing rebounds, being efficient, scoring the basketball for his team. I never heard of him. I don't know if he's a rookie. I don't know. But he is definitely somebody I'm aware of now. Lamar Stevens of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's on the map. That dude is a nice role player, man. Darius Garland was phenomenal. And the funny thing is about another stats thing that I said Darius would probably go for 30 and 15. He went for 29 and 16. I don't think that's crazy because that's what he's been doing all year. You know, that's kind of how he plays every night. He's like a Chris Paul light, not even light, just young Chris Paul. He's got all the talent in the world on both ends of the floor, I believe, and scoring the ball. He's a much better ball handler than he's actually even shown people yet. I think he has some Kyrie in him in terms of his dribble and his handles. He has some crazy ability that he just don't really do. I mean, he's so under control that he doesn't just be pounding it for no reason. That's the thing about Darius Garland. Not to say that Kyrie does, but Darius Garland's more of a feel point guard, in my opinion, early on. As to where Kyrie had so many raw, talented skills early on to score and finish and dribble, till he had to learn, you know, to be more of a field player, a pass player, a pure point guard. I think, in my humble opinion, I think Kyrie had to step into that. Garland has some of those instinctual gifts already, so he's already a gifted pace player. He already has mid-range game down packed. His three-point shot is wet. So, you know, he doesn't really break out the handles, but I'm telling you, as years progress, we're going to see some incredible highlights from him in that way. The boy can dribble. Evan Mobley seemed like he was having a tough game to me tonight. I didn't get from Evan Mobley what I thought I would see, even though his numbers still were good, solid. He's got a long way to go in terms of building his strength. And ultimately being able to kind of dominate. And statistically, I think he's not ready to be that crazy great center that I know he's going to turn into. But you can still see glimpses of ultimate dominance from that young man out there tonight. You know, he's just a very, very smart basketball player with active feet who can move side to side and quicker than most, which is really, really interesting because he's able to guard smaller players. Which I think is something that's going to help the Cleveland Cavaliers in the playoffs. So keep an eye open for that particular thing. Kevin Love had a pretty good game tonight. He was very active, shooting the ball as everybody would expect. Cedi Osman had a very bad plus-minus tonight. I think he was a negative 27. If you look at the stats, you would think he was the main reason they lost. He just missed a lot of shots. I didn't really pay him that much attention, but he jumped off the scorecard with that plus minus. What else? Good from the line. Very happy the Lakers shot very well from the line. We shot excellent from the field goal. I think 56%. Even though the Lakers only shot 30-something%, they still only took about 30 three-point shots. And while that is a lot, it's about 10 down from where we were yesterday. So I'm very happy about that. We upped our 2-point field goal percentages. We did more give and go stuff, more slashing to the basket for Bron and Russell and Stanley. It was a lot of that instead of just jacking up mindless 3-point shots. So I thought we took better ones. We gave them to better players who can shoot and ultimately just played an all-around better offensive game than maybe we've played all season. I think a lot of that is a testament to Russell Westbrook finally finding some rhythm on this team over these last 3 games. Um, his floor game has given us more possessions and has taken less from us, right? So you're seeing better production from everybody else because of that. Um, of course, the dynamic, as I said, the rebounding that helps when you have Winion and Dwight down there a little more. So you saw what we need. You give us some wings, you give us some size, and our guards are good. We got good guards. Our guys can play. Uh, Austin Reeves can keep up with just about anybody. Obviously, he's going to have issues as it pertains to keeping up with fast-paced guards, but like in terms of his mental space, he can keep up with just about anybody. He's smart as anybody. So when his body catches up, you'll see what type of talent he has. And that three-point shot, and when that catches up, we'll really have it. Stanley's three is starting to fall a lot better. I'm very happy that he's continuing to shoot that. It's falling. I saw more Carmelo in the paint. I don't know if he was running the 5 or the 4 because Bron was on the floor with him, but we got situations where we saw him kind of out there just left to fend for himself in the paint defensively, and that's something I just wish Coach Vogel would just stop doing. He got away from it really quickly. We didn't have it out there for long, but don't even put it down there. It doesn't work, bro. You might as well run, a player at the center position as a point guard. These are the type of things that you do when you want to lose. Simple as that. So stop putting him there. What else? Again, I just want to circle back around to DJ Augustin's shooting. It really stabilized some things out there, solidifying the fact that we could close out possessions without having rebounds flying the other way. See, that's the most important thing. Because the Lakers miss so many shots all of the time and they're so bad defensively, when that ball goes off the rim after a missed three-point shot from our team, it usually turns into a transition bucket. When DJ Augustin's shooting better, Winion's on the floor getting tips, Bron scoring, Westbrook's not turning the ball over, all these things settle us into just being a more efficient basketball team that's harder to guard. And that's what I saw. Cleveland had a hard time guarding us. That's why the score was so crazy high. And you just appreciate the fact that we were able to get this victory. This has been a good road trip, y'all. This has been a good road trip. You're looking at a Los Angeles Lakers team that has won 2 out of 3 and had a 16-point lead in the game that they lost. I am very happy with this team. And I just understand that there's a lot of things that are just coming together. Russell's confidence, Winion being there, and that's the biggest difference. Those are the 2 things that have come together for this team. We can't seem to find consistency in some of these other areas, but as long as Russell's not the can't get right guy, and as long as we continue to give ourselves a healthy, very, very healthy dose of Winion and Stan, yeah, we're going to be good enough to beat guys. Not everybody. We're not a good team, but this does make us a better one. And what it also does is give Bron a chance to flex and have that dominance and be a little scary out there. Because it's not that people aren't afraid of Bron. It's just that they know his team is trash. But if his team is just good enough to where they have to think about those guys too, they're going to start fearing Bron again, because this ain't a situation where he's lost his mojo or lost his strength. It's just everybody knows he's down. They know he's stuck in the mud, so they can do whatever they want. He get in the right situation and they going to cower. They going to crumble like the old Toronto Raptors used to do when they'd have to run into him every playoffs. Nothing's changed. It's the Kings is down. That's it. He's still got the Infinity Stones. He's still Thanos out here. And what we need to do as a Laker organization is give him what he needs so that he can be scary again. Because he's still going to snatch all these dudes' souls at the end of the day, and they know it. We just got to do our part as an organization. And he needs to do his part and not get in the way of us doing that. Because that's what we saw a lot of this season. I think everybody learned their lesson. We should all be healthily traumatized by this season, regardless of how we finish it off. And I think guys are going to come in with a more humble attitude about how to build this team next season. And I think guys are going to be more comfortable, particularly Russell Westbrook, if we're forced to keep him. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with who he'll come back being after this offseason, assuming we can keep him healthy. And if we're forced to keep him, which nobody hopes we do, we want to get a trade for him, but I'm telling you that I'm seeing him finding synergy with LeBron James now. And I think he'll be a much better, more comfortable Laker next season if we're forced to keep him. And I'm also predicting, and I'm going to tell you this right now, I'm also predicting if we're not able to get rid of him next season for some strange reason, that by the time next season ends, we'll probably want to re-sign him at a price that makes us happy. I see that coming. I think we will want to keep Russell Westbrook by the time all this plays itself out, because we would then have him on a contract that we'll like, and he won't have the role that we have him at now. What makes him an undesirable player is the can't get right and the contract. Remove the contract and the can't get right, and he's suddenly somebody that we love to have. So that's my greatest hope for Russell Westbrook. If we can't get rid of him, that he just continues to get better and feel more comfortable in his uniform, and ultimately find the pace in this offense. So more give and go. That's what we need. More of that than them little dive passes into the lane where Braun is diving, Westbrook's diving, all of that. We ran a lot of that with Austin Reeves. He's excellent in those situations. Keep running that. The teams are not getting it. Back screens, dive screen plays. I don't know the real terminology, but you know what I'm talking about. Get those plays off, screen and rolls, all that. Anything diving at the rim is the way to go for the Lakers. So, yeah, great win. We're very happy Jared Allen wasn't out there. We're very happy Colin Sexton wasn't out there. Very happy that Caris LeVert kept it cool tonight, because last time we saw him, he killed us in the fourth quarter. I think he was still playing for the Pacers then, but he didn't, he still destroyed us. I remember that. He didn't do that tonight. We're happy about it. Next up, who we got? It's another game on the road, I think. I don't know. I didn't check. But I know we do play again very soon. But this has been a good road trip. Los Angeles Lakers win the game, kept the turnovers down to 8, shot a good free throw percentage, kept our threes down, all these different things, forced turnovers, played good defense down the stretch. It's just a lot to like, man. Withstood runs. You just love what the team has done these last 3 games. You remove Frank Vogel's ridiculous decision to not put anyone on Porzingis, and you have a 3-game winning streak on the road. That's how real this is, Lakers. So we'll take what we can get. But this is a team that is improving and getting healthier. That is the bottom line. That's it. BDF 44. I'm happy. Game ball. There's so many different people that you can honestly give it to. I can give it to DJ Augustine for the 3-point shooting. You can give it to the King for being all around great tonight. You can give it to Russell Westbrook for continuing to play well. I think I want to split the ball in 3 different plays, in 3 different ways, and I want to give it to those guys, because ultimately this was a team win. I don't think we could have won it without any of those contributions. We need all of those guys to do all that they did, and this is great, man. This is just a great win. That's all there is to it. We'll take them. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.